All right, guys. So if you remember last time, we ended with talking about the six things, the six factors that affect demand. Today, we're going to talk about, to finish our discussion on demand, what elasticity of demand is and how that can change from day to day. So there are two things you need to be familiar with when we're discussing elasticity of demand. The terms elastic and inelastic. So elastic is simply, think of it as a stretch band on a pair of pants. The idea that the more you demand, the more it requires, the more the price changes. All right. So as price goes up on an item, demand diminishes. It changes. So just like the waistband on a pair of pants changes, the same way price is going to change for an elastic product. An inelastic product is just the opposite. As the price changes, demand is not going to change that much. This would be for an item such as gasoline. Gasoline, it doesn't really matter what the price is on gas. Most Americans are going to continue to buy about the same amount every year because we are a society that loves our gasoline. So there's three things that affect elasticity of demand. The first is the availability of substitutes. The amount of stuff that's there that can replace it. The second is what proportion of your income is spent on that particular good or service. And the last one is whether the product is a necessity or a luxury. Is it something you absolutely have to have, or is it something that you can do without? So, factor one about determining elasticity is a substitute good or service. So if there is nothing that can take the place of that good or service, the demand for that particular good or service is going to be inelastic. Example, if you are diabetic, you must have insulin. And it doesn't matter what the price of insulin is. You're going to have to buy it because you have to have it to live. A couple years ago, there was an example of the company that made EpiPens, the injectable epinephrine that you use in a case of a severe allergic attack. Well, someone who has severe life-threatening allergies, such as something like a peanut allergy or a scent allergy, is going to have to buy an EpiPen no matter what it costs. So that will be an inelastic demand. On the other hand, if there's a product that has substitutes available, that product demand is elastic. Beef, chicken, pork, these things are elastic because when the price of beef reaches a certain level, people simply buy less beef and they buy more pork, they buy more chicken, they buy more fish. Second thing that determines elasticity of demand is the proportion of your income. So more expensive items tend to be more elastic. So the more of your income is required to buy a certain item, the more demand goes up. I'm sorry, other way around. Flip that, cancel it, reverse it. The more of your income that an item costs, the less you're going to demand it. For example, cars. I used the example before of my dream car. Well, if I somehow miraculously manage to save the money to buy that car, and then they raise the price on it $50,000, my demand is going to go way down, and I'm probably just going to buy another car. Flip it around. If an item requires a small percentage of your income, and the price just goes up a little bit and it doesn't take up a much bigger percentage of your income, you're probably still going to buy the same amount of it. Example, something like milk. If the price of milk goes up by a nickel per gallon, you're probably going to buy more milk. You're probably going to continue to buy the same amount of milk, and it doesn't matter that it only costs a nickel more per gallon because it doesn't affect it that much. Consequently, as your income goes up, your things that are inelastic demand go up as well. Third factor is whether the good you are buying is a necessity or a luxury. A necessity is something you absolutely 100% have to survive. Those are things that you're going to buy no matter what they cost. Example again, insulin. If you have to have it to live, you're going to continue to buy it, regardless of what it costs. You're going to figure out a way to make it happen. On the other hand, if your thing you're buying is a luxury item, if it's something you want, but it's not really something you need, those tend to be more elastic, meaning the more the price goes up, the less demand there is for that item. Now, it can seem like elastic and inelastic are easily reversible because for some people, they just get mixed up. I'm one of those people. For some reason, keeping them straight at times is difficult. So just be aware of that. So how do you calculate the elasticity of demand? Well, this is important because sellers need to know what their prices can be on it. How much can we increase prices in order for people, before people just go, yeah, wait a minute, stop. I'm not paying this anymore. There is a breaking point for every product. And there are formulas used to calculate that. So the first formula is what we call the total revenue test. The total revenue test is the amount of money a company gets for selling its product. The formula is very simple. It's the price of the product times the quantity sold. I apologize. The total revenue test shows a total revenue from an item at any particular price. So if total revenue increases after the price drops, the demand for that product is elastic. If total revenue decreases after a price drop, demand becomes inelastic. Don't care. So these are the three things you need to be familiar with from this particular lecture today. Elastic, inelastic, and total revenue. How are you going to use those three terms in a sentence that explains and give an example of each term? It can be one sentence or it can be multiple sentences. That is up to you. I will expect you to respond to that in the discussion below. All right, guys. I hope things are going well. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message on Canvas. I will do my best to get back to you because I'm going to be going to the hospital before long. So, all right, guys. Have a good week, and I will see you guys before you know it. All right. Bye.